Dude, the number of things I've had to do to this 0100, this Garrard turntable, to try and get this thing to work as it should work, it's just absolutely the stupidest damn thing ever. I broke this thing all the way down. We put new dampening fluid in here. We took all the old grease off the metal parts, put new grease on there, broke the motor down, took the old oil out of there. We replaced the idler wheel, put it back together. Then we started in on the electrical. So when I first got this, it was like, oh, hey, Mike, this is an international model. It's wired to go for 110 or 220, depending on where a little copper jumper is situated in there. Open that up, it wasn't configured anywhere. So I put two copper jumpers on there, short, blew a passive component in this rascal. Worked through that, figured out somebody got in there and moved these wires around. So I had to reconfigure these to where this would work in parallel, because in theory, on a 110 outlet, you put a jumper on these two things and then a jumper on these two things, and that sends parallel power to this coil and this coil. Well, we finally figured that out, but then this motor was cooking. It was hitting 160, 175 degrees Fahrenheit within 15 minutes. So we went down the rabbit hole, figured out, oh, hey, the person who got in here and messed up the wiring also probably replaced this motor right here, because this is a motor wired for 110. The resistance on each coil is 65 ohms. The resistance on those international that can go between 110 and 220 is like 150 to 200 ohms of resistance per coil. So we were shooting both coils with 120 volts when this motor specifically is only designed to hit 60 volts each side. So, all right, well then fine. The jumper just goes from two jumpers to one jumper, so that way the coils are going in series. Great, now it's cool. Then no power was getting through here because this needs 120 volts to get power. So we had to move. On the original configuration, both of these wires was attached to the wires going to one coil. So you can see where I did the soldering. So now one of these coils, one wire is on a power line going into this coil, and then this is going on the power line going into this coil. So now the stroboscope works. Oh, but wait, Mike, that has a 50 hertz stroboscope. No worries, because I've got a spare platter, and it's supposed to, and this one had the 60 hertz stroboscope on there. So, right idea, we'll just peel that off and then take it someplace, make copies, and glue it over that thing. But warp the shit out of the sticker trying to ply it off. Now it's too small. It won't fit underneath the platter. So now I've got to find a daggone document or a file that's already existed, or create a new one, and then find some place to print that off and glue it on that one, and then replace the 50 hertz. Beside that, functionally, we're testing it out. Okay, everything works. However, this thing slows to a goddamn crawl when the auto feature is engaged. So, Mike, what's going on? Well, maybe more lubrication needs to be on this thing. Or maybe we didn't clear up the lubrication here. Or on the spindle going on here, because this is the cam gear. It struggles. The thing was struggling when the little pin was hitting this part on the startup and then going in here. So we relubricated that. We took this off, relubricated that. It still struggles. So what are we going to do? We're going to break it all the way down. But, Mike, what'd you do? You broke the damn tone arm leads onto the RCA cord. So guess what? You get to rewire this bitch ass of a tone arm. And now the dog is looking at me like I've got lobsters crawling on my ears, because she doesn't like my crash outs. She's a very quiet dog. She doesn't like loud noises. You can see the ears are pinned back. She's like, Papa has lost his goddamn mind. So we'll figure it out. We'll get the mechanicals working. We'll get the tone arm rewired. We'll get this thing up and running, and then we'll be able to throw that little pig up to market, or send it out to the fucking slaughterhouse out back. Yep. Ain't that right, Rocks Blocks? Good girl.